Everybody to the Cleveland Guardians franchise here on MLB The Show 23. We have made it to the trade deadline here in year number 4. This is a big opportunity for us to bolster our roster going into the postseason. If you remember last year, we went out and made a big move with the Braves to go out and acquire Dansby Swanson and Max Fried. And I think if we didn't make that move, we wouldn't have ended up winning the World Series. As it stands now, we're 71-38. We lead the AL Central by 11.5 games, and we currently have the best record in all of baseball, but not by a lot. The Astros are right on our tail. The Blue Jays are playing pretty well, too. Obviously, we would love to clinch that number 1 overall seed in the American League, so we're certainly going to look to make the team better today here at the deadline and hopefully push us forward to our second consecutive World Series championship. I think as it stands now, the offense really does not need any changes. Since the very start of the year, the offense has been the strength of the team. Jose Ramirez has been the AL MVP, Ketel Marte has the highest WAR in baseball, and Kyle Lewis is also playing at an MVP level. Along with that, a lot of the other guys are playing pretty well too, so I don't think we need to go out and get a bat. I think we need to improve the pitching, particularly the starting rotation, which is the weak link of the team. Other than Hunter Green and I guess Shane Bieber, the starting pitching's been very mediocre, and it wouldn't hurt to go out and get a bullpen arm either. So, unfortunately, most of the players on the trade block are bats. There are some pitchers down the board, but nobody I'm overly interested in. So as I go through the player finder looking for guys who aren't on big contracts and maybe on selling teams, two of the guys who make the most sense are ironically Aaron Savale and Zach Plesac, both players who we've traded away during this series. Now, things did not really end well with either of those guys, particularly Savale, so I can't bring myself to go and get one of those guys back. I'd rather some new blood, say maybe a guy like Ranger Suarez from the Philadelphia Phillies. He's not necessarily a number 1, but he's a really good number 2 to number 3 pitcher in the rotation. He's a lefty arm, he's been consistent this year, and he's a free agent at the end of the year. The Phillies are 57-54. They have a chance in the NL wildcard race, but there's a lot of teams they have to pass, so they may be willing to sell. As I look at the trade finder, they offer us a fair trade. I don't want to give away Eric Pena, but clearly they are willing to make this work. So I was able to come up with a deal that I like, and I think benefits both teams. We'll be giving away 2 pretty good prospects, Logan Allen and Will Benson, both of whom are 26 years old, which I understand feels old for prospects, but they both have B potential. They're both ready to compete at the major league level. Logan Allen is dominating this season in Double-A, and he's just kind of the odd man out in terms of all the talent we have in the rotation in the farm system. And then Will Benson, another guy who's just kind of an odd man out, but he's a 76 overall. He's somebody who could start for a big league team right away. So maybe the Phillies are bolstering their lineup for the playoffs, and obviously we're getting a really good middle of the rotation guy in Ranger Suarez, who I think can be a lot more dependable than some of the younger guys we've had there throughout the year. We're going to make a move to bolster the bullpen, getting Brusdar Graterol from the Dodgers. I get the Dodgers are in first place in their division, but they did offer as a trade for Graterol earlier in the season. So clearly he's a guy they're willing to trade away. He has one more year of team control after this one, so I guess they don't see him as a long-term piece. We'll be giving away outfield prospect Rich Baez. He was one of our draft picks back in Season 2. Good contact bat, improving power, but I'm willing to give him away in order to acquire Graterol. So we make 2 big additions to the pitching staff, improving the rotation and the bullpen. We'll be sending Alex Vesia back down to the minors, and then Rambo Rodriguez will join him because we just don't really need these 2 guys at the big league level with the upgrades that we have made. So Ranger Suarez will be inserted into the middle of the rotation, and then Brusdar Graterol will join the bullpen. I feel pretty good about those 2 moves. We're going to play Suarez's Cleveland debut against the San Francisco Giants, so we're going to simulate a 4-game set against the Red Sox, and we ended up getting swept. That's not ideal. So hopefully we can figure some things out here as we start the month of August with a little West Coast road trip starting with 2 games in San Francisco. I don't think we've been on more than like a 2 to 3 game losing streak all season long, so that's a little bit concerning, especially after our great start after the All-Star break. So here we go. Let's get into this matchup here. Game 1 of a 2-game set here at Oracle Park between the struggling San Francisco Giants and the Cleveland Guardians, who are also struggling in recent days, coming off a 4-game series sweep against the Boston Red Sox. we'll get our first look at Ranger Suarez in a Cleveland Guardian jersey today. Regular starters across the board for both teams. The Giants will be starting the veteran Alex Wood. 7-8 record, 5.13 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. Not great, which I think is a good two-word description of the Giants season so far. Jesus Sanchez will lead this game off, and he's got a blue base single into right field. Not a whole ton of pop in that swing, but hey, the ball drops for a hit. It does what it needs to. That'll bring up Ramon Ramiro, the lefty killer, shoots it down the line and fair into left field. Sanchez thinks about 3, but will go back to second. So the Guardians start the inning with a couple early base runners. We'll see if Ketel Marte can drive them in. Big ol' yes! Marte shoots that one into the left center gap. Sanchez will score. Ramiro will look to join him. The throw to the cutoff man will not go back to the plate. It's a 2-run double for Ketel Marte, who continues to play at an MVP level. He's been a little bit overshadowed by this guy, Jose Ramirez, but as I said earlier, Marte has a WAR of 7, which leads all of baseball. Jose Ramirez gets that one to drop into center for an RBI single. Ramirez with his MLB leading 110th RBI. And keep in mind, we still have 2 more months to go. That'll bring up the new kid on the block, Alvaro Pena, who continues to dominate since being called up by AAA. He flies out to right to end the inning. Pretty good start, though. Cleveland opens up the game by driving in 3. Some early run support for the new starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez, making his Cleveland Guardian debut after a long start to his career with the Philadelphia Phillies. Suarez, of course, a free agent in the offseason. We'll see if Cleveland decides to pay him, as his first batter draws a walk. That's Lamont Wade. The second batter, Franklin Labor, also draws a walk. So not a great start. Already 2 guys on, nobody out for Cedric Mullins, who lines it to short. Good play by Marte. Mullins was acquired via trade earlier in the season from the rival San Diego Padres. 2 away now for Brandon Lau. Hits this one high and deep into center. Sanchez will make the play, so a rocky first inning for Suarez. He allows 2 early base runners off of walks, but retires the next 3. Let's go top 2. The reigning World Series MVP, Eliezer Alfonso, who will single into right field. Cleveland's lineup already with 5 hits through their first way around the order. The offense making quick work as Sanchez hits this one into the left center gap. That could score Alfonso, and it looks like it will, but it's going to be a close play. The throw to the plate is not in time from Willy Adames. It's an RBI double for Jesus Sanchez, who already has 2 hits today, and Cleveland leads 4-0. Sanchez on third, 2 away for Ketel Marte. Drove in 2 on his last at-bat. He's going to drive another one in here. The shortstop does a good job of deflecting it, but he's unable to get the throw to first in time. So it's now 5-0. The Cleveland offense with 7 hits in the first 2 innings. Bottom 2, that's the first baseman, Francisco Ramirez, who goes down looking. Willy Adames is now up. Hits this one nicely into left. Kyle Lewis chasing after it, but it'll one hop off the wall for a double. So the Giants get their first base hit of the day. And with a runner in scoring position, with only 1 away, they could certainly drive him in. 2 away now for the catcher, Axel Erickson Jorgens, who singles into left. Adames will score, and San Francisco is on the board as it is now 5-1. Let's move to the 4th inning. Still 5-1. Zane Rowley hits it into right, and it is caught. What a catch by Franklin Labor to lay out and make the grab for the first out. Jesus Sanchez now up. He's already 2 for 2 today. Why not make it 3 for 3, as that one will look like a double. Jesus Sanchez really hitting the ball well here at the top of the order. It's been an up and down season for Sanchez. He has played pretty well since the All-Star break. Hopefully he can keep it going, and he certainly is today. Ramon Ramiro now with a weak dribbler to the pitcher. Wood going to try to make the play, and he cannot. Ramiro is safe at first, an infield single. So now there's runners on the corners and 2 away for Ketel Marte, and he will draw a walk. So the bases are loaded for Jose Ramirez, who's been the best offensive player in baseball this year, and the Giants do not want Alex Wood to face him. Instead, it'll be full-on reliever Brian Garcia, who has pitched exactly 69 innings. Nice. What's not nice is Ramirez grounds out to first, ending the inning with the bases loaded and nobody scoring. The Guardians hold on to their 5-1 lead. We'll see if Ranger Suarez can continue to pitch well, because for the most part, he's been pretty good today. Now facing off against Brandon Lau, who beats the shift perfectly ripping into the left for some Oppo-Popo, and that'll be a double for the second baseman Lau. So he is in scoring position with nobody out. So you got to think the Giants should get a run back in this inning. One away, Adames grounds it to third, but Alvaro Pena misfires. That'll be an error for the 19-year-old third baseman. He's a pretty good defender. Don't normally see many hiccups from him, but he did miss the throw to first that time. So now there's 2 on, 2 away for Erickson Jorgens, and he will strike out on the check swing. Really nice pitch out of the zone by Ranger Suarez, who, again, he's allowed some base runners, but I think he's pitching pretty well, although the pitch count is starting to get a little bit high. I think you're only going to see one more inning out of him. Top 5, Kyle Lewis leads it off with a base hit. He was acquired via trade from the Mariners in the offseason, and, well, he's done better than anybody could expect, and he has been a legit MVP candidate in the American League, although, again, he's been overshadowed by being teammates with Jose Ramirez. Josh Bell then singles into center, so 2 on, nobody away. A huge opportunity for the rookie, Alvaro Pena, and he's going to ground this one to second. Looks like the Giants should turn 2, which they do. Good work by the San Francisco infield. Looked like Cleveland was going to score in that inning. Now they're going to need a base hit from Rowley, and he strikes out. Good job by Garcia to get out of the inning as it remains 5-1. Cleveland's offense started off hot, and now they've been a lot quieter. Bottom 5, 1 away for Franklin Labor, and he will single into right field, getting that one over the head of Ramon Romero. So with 1 away, the Giants now the runner on base. That'll bring up Cedric Mullins, who gets that one past the diving glove of Ketel Marte for a single. And now the Giants have 2 runners aboard. Gotta assume we're going to see some bullpen action soon, maybe after this at bat. Matt Chapman, the expensive third baseman, doubles into left. Runner scores. It's now 5-2. And San Francisco now has 2 runners in scoring position. So from there, Suarez will be taken out of the game. 4 1/3 innings, 2 runs allowed so far. We'll see if the 2 guys on base are able to score. And then Brusdar Graterol will come in to replace Suarez. This is Graterol's second appearance as a Cleveland Guardian. His first one actually did not go all that well, allowing a run. So hopefully this one can be better. As he starts with Brandon Lau. Hits it into center. Sanchez cannot make the play. That one's going to get by him. 1 run scores. Chapman looking to make it 2. Lau on his horse headed for third. It's a 2-run triple for Brandon Lau, and the Giants cut the lead to 1. Both of those earned runs go against Suarez. Francisco Ramirez strikes out on the check swing, going down on the cutter. And then Willy Adames now with 2 away draws a walk. Another shaky inning here for Graterol now against Mike Yastrzemski, who hits that one to second. And Ramiro with the defensive play of the year. Oh my goodness! Throwing out the runner, keeping Cleveland's lead. Ramiro not known as a great defender with an awesome diving stop. And then he has to make a backhanded throw as well. And he does it perfectly. What a great job by Ramon Ramiro. Going into 6th, Zach Little is in the game for the Giants. He would allow a base hit to Eliezer Alfonso. Now facing off against Jesus Sanchez, he will strike out on the fastball for the first out of the inning. 2 away now for Ketel Marte. 2 for 2. He's driven in 3 runs in this one as he will get another base hit, this time singling into center. So 2 on, 2 away. Pretty big opportunity here for the best offensive player in baseball this year. Ramirez hits that one well, but he might have hit it a little too well as it is caught by Cedric Mullins out there in center for the 3rd and final out of the inning as it'll remain 5-4 going into the bottom of the 6th. The former San Francisco Giant, Camilo Doval, checks into the game. He was acquired from the Giants in the Season 1 offseason. Although Doval has not been all that great this year, that trade is looking a whole lot like a fleece in favor of Cleveland. With 1 away, Lamont Wade Jr. hits that one into center over the glove of Sanchez for a double. Wade is really good against righties and really bad against lefties. I'm not sure why he started in this game, considering Ranger Suarez is a lefty. Fitting that he does well now against the righty. Franklin Labor strikes out. 2 away for Cedric Mullins. Flies it into left. Kyle Lewis should be under it. Pretty good inning for Camilo Doval. He allowed an early double, but was able to get the next 2 guys out to finish off the job. Still 5-4. Going into the 7th, Keon Kela is in for San Francisco. He's had a nice season, 2.34 ERA. The Guardians have still not scored since the 2nd inning. Cleveland's had no problem getting base runners the entire game, but They are in a little bit of a scoring drought as Kyle Lewis strikes out. What a pitch. Up and away on the far right corner of the zone. That did not look like a strike, but it was really close. Alvaro Pena with 2 away. Bloops it into right, and Labor will not be able to make the catch. So a weak single, but a single nonetheless for Pena. We'll see if Zane Rowley, Mr. Clutch, can drive him in. Hasn't exactly been Mr. Clutch today, but he does get a base hit here, so I guess he was clutch in this instance. First and second now, 2 away. That would bring up the catcher's slot, which Cleveland will go to pinch hitter Josh Naylor, who flies it out to left, and it is caught fairly easily by Mike Yastrzemski. So again, 2 base runners, nobody scores. Bottom 7, Dylan Tate checks into the game for Cleveland. Tate started the season off rough, but ever since really like the middle of May, he has been dominant. Here's Matt Chapman, hits this one high and deep into left, back at the trains over at the track, but it is caught. How do left fielders feel seeing those creepy trains whenever they track a ball? That's got to be kind of freaky. Brandon Lau hits that one off the wall and right, and that one looks like it'll go for a double. Not quite enough distance to be a splash shot into McCovey Cove, but nonetheless, it is an extra base hit. Francisco Ramirez goes down looking on the slider, and he knows it. Frustrated with himself walking back to the dugout. Willie Adames then goes down on the slider. So a good inning for Dylan Tate as it remains 5-4. Moving on to the 8th. John Brebbia is in for San Francisco. 4.84 ERA this year. Not the best. Averages above 300 against righties and lefties. That is not too good. Jesus Sanchez leads the inning off. He will get that one into center for a single. Jesus Sanchez is 4 for 5 today, really hitting the baseball well. That'll bring up Ramon Ramiro, 2 for 4 in this one. Hits it into the gap, out in right center. That could score a run. I know Ramiro is the lefty killer, but he can hit righties pretty well too. Sanchez scores. Ramiro will head to third. It's an RBI triple. So with nobody out, Cleveland is a runner 90 feet away from home, and they drive in a run to double the lead. 1 away, infield playing in as Ramirez grounds it to second. The second baseman runs 5 steps away from the bag before making the throw. Why, I don't know, but since the infield was playing in, Ramiro couldn't really score. And now Cleveland's going to need a base hit here from the pinch hitter, George Valera. He grounds it to second, who makes a much more routine throw. So Ramiro was on third base with nobody out and was unable to score, but he did drive in a run as Sanchez was able to cross home plate, and it's 6-4. James Karinchak checks into the game here in the bottom of the 8th for Cleveland. Just like Dylan Tate, he started the year off slow, but is pitching a lot better as he strikes out Axel Eriksson Jurgens for the first out of the inning. 2 away now for Lamont Wade. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. He goes down to the dugout. Good inning for Karinchak as the Guardians, with 17 hits, by the way, lead it by 2 going into the 9th. Sean Newcomb is in for the Giants, facing off against Pena, who gets that one into right center field, possibly for extra bases. Pena with his second hit of the day, as that one's going to be a double. At just 19 years old, Alvaro Pena already is playing at a really high level. His OPS right around 900 through his first month in the big leagues. 2 away here for Campusano. Hits that one well into left, but it is caught for the third and final out of the inning by Franklin Labor, who has moved over from right to left. So that'll bring us to the bottom of the 9th. It's a 2-run game. The closer, Emmanuel Clase, checks into the game. He's, of course, having another great season. 1.85 ERA. He's made the All-Star game in all 4 seasons of the series. As of 1 away, Cedric Mullins hits this one well into left. Can Marte make the play? He does. Ketel Marte with some great defense for the second out of the inning, saving a likely extra base hit. And then Chapman pops this one into the shallow infield. Alvaro Pena makes the grab, and the Cleveland Guardians take it home. 6-4 is your final. This was a weird game. We scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings and only had 1 the rest of the way. But we had a lot of base hits today with 18, yet neither team actually hit a home run the entire game. That's a pretty rare sight in today's modern game. Ranger Suarez had an okay debut. I don't think he was horrible. He wasn't great either. That 5th inning certainly was a little rocky before we took him out, but the bullpen completely shut the door. All the relievers did a fantastic job, per usual. The bullpen started off slow this year, but really since the middle of May, they've been the best bullpen in baseball. And then for the Giants, their bullpen was really good too. but they allowed a lot of base runners, and ultimately that ended up costing them as we finally win our first game in August. Going to simulate these next 7, wrapping up the series against the Giants, 3 in Seattle, 3 at home against the White Sox, as Elliot Ramos is back from injury, so he will return to the big league roster, and then our super utility man, Luis Rengifo, will go down to AAA. We're going to need Rengifo for the playoffs, I think, but for now, I don't really think we need him that much. Unfortunately, one of our better pitching prospects, Darian Augustus, dislocated his shoulder. He'll be moved to the 60-day IL, pretty much ending his season. In the 7 games we simulated, we went 6-1, a big improvement after our rough start to the month. Ranger Suarez won his first game as a Guardian against Chicago, going 5 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs. So as it stands now, we lead the division by 13.5 games, although the Astros are creeping up. They're trying to pass us for the best record in baseball. Next episode, we'll get through the rest of August. We have a World Series rematch against the struggling Rockies, who are like 30 games under 500. They've been horrible. One of the worst teams in baseball. And then we'll get through the early portion of September as well. We have a big series against Toronto, a team we may see in the postseason. So that'll wrap up the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know what you thought of the trade deadline moves down below in the comments. Peace out.